Alright, hello everyone, this is Dominamara and welcome to my live stream. Today I'm going to just start talking because I think this is a really important topic to, well, chat about. And if you haven't already, and if you are new, welcome. Go ahead and click that subscribe button, turn on notifications so that you know when I am online next. I post a new video every Saturday at 1 p.m. Pacific time, or I live stream. Usually I live stream on Sundays, but for the rest of this year, I will be alternating between posting and live streaming. But who knows, if people keep watching my live streams, maybe I'll pop on during the week too while I have a moment. But yes, today we're going to talk about finances. And I know a lot of people don't like to talk about money, but I think that's a really important thing to discuss, especially with what I do and also with the holidays coming up and the new year coming around. So many things. Let's bring up the chat because I see we have Liam. Liam asks, are there DOMs on a budget? I'm pretty sure if you are just starting out and you don't have a 9-to-5 job, or if you're transitioning from a 9-to-5 to an independent, yes, there are things that you have to sacrifice or things that you can't splurge on just yet because you haven't made the money yet. I think that a lot of DOMs, especially if they have their own spaces, they've earned it, or if they need to travel because the city that they're living in doesn't serve them any longer or isn't very lucrative for them. Traveling's expensive and they have to, have a budget in mind. Budgeting is really important. I budget, and I think it's one of the most helpful tools that I've learned since I was younger. So yeah, we can talk more about budgeting too as I progress in the discussion. But yeah, that's a really good question, Liam. And hello. Brandon says, you still have sexy feet, Miss Mara. I would love to rub them. Thanks, Brandon. Nelson says, hi, Miss Mara. It's so nice to see you today. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday, everyone. Nice to see you too, Nelson. Mariana says, beware the necro of necrotomigod. I have no idea what that is, but okay. Necro's the dead, but yeah. Nelson says, I finally made it to this live show early. Gorgeous. I just started, so yeah. Liam says, well, I mean, more budget for the sub. Oh, you mean discounts? Okay, yes, we'll talk about that because that's really, really important to discuss as well. Nelson says, how are you doing today, lovely woman and the gang? I'm doing fantastic. I just shot some photos for a sponsor earlier this morning. And yeah, it's been like a really quick week. Person from Yemen says, I love you. With lots of, oh, that's a cute puppy emoji. Graham says, good evening from England, ma'am. You're prettier than ever. Red heart. Thank you. Hello, Graham. Good evening. Lam says, also, hello, Miss Mara. Tony says, lovely to see you, Miss Mara. Hello, hello, hello. Nelson says, I agree with Brandon. Miss Mara, you got gorgeous, sexy feet I would love to rub them too. Thanks, everyone. All right, so today I'm going to talk about finances because, I guess in America we like to talk about money, but not sex, but which is funny because in France and in other places in Europe, you talk about sex and not money. But yes, since we are the most capitalistic country in the world, next to, I don't know, other first world powers, I think it is important for me to discuss it because money is neutral. Money can be good or can be used with evil intention. And we're going to break down what it is for somebody who works in this industry like me. Nelson says, that's good, and you're that good that you're good, Miss Mara, and I'm also doing very good too. Okay. All right, so we're going to talk about finances from a Dom perspective. And so I'm going to tell you how I transitioned from being a 9-to-5 corporate to working independent. And I did have a transition period where I no longer did my 9-to-5, but I had saved up so much of my earnings. Even with taxes taken out, I had, a good amount of money because I was earning a decent wage for what I did in the entertainment industry, and most of it went to savings. I never had to dip into those to live, and that kind of helps propel me to become independent, because even if I didn't work every single day, I was still making enough money throughout the week that I could, pay for my rent, pay for groceries, all the necessary things that we need to live. Everybody good? Liam says, yes, I'm all for communistic, same price for everyone, mistresses, or back to the good old days. I'll trade 4 loaves of bread for a session. Bartering is an interesting topic because I feel like I'm the same way, where I would love to trade skills or goods that are of equal value, that both people can determine is of equal value, but it's really subjective. Same with doms, not every single mistress is the same, meaning some are more experienced than others, have a much more appealing style to others, and have a grander wardrobe than others, have a nice play space. Some people don't. So you have to take all of those things into consideration when you are booking with a mistress, and why she has a price that low or that high. And we'll talk more about how you can discern what's worth it or not, and why we charge so much. Damien says, what payment platforms do you think are safe for SWs? Oh man, that is a loaded question, and I'm not actually going to go into that today because there's so many problems with being in a country that is super corporate, but then, since SW is not legal, and there's a lot of gray area depending on if you've established your own company or not, that have to do with that. So I can tell you this, the space that I started out in was legal because everybody paid taxes on their earnings, even though it was cash. And the house that I was in also had to pay taxes. So everything was legal. It was an LLC, a small corporation, and they did everything by the books. So they were allowed to use credit cards and cash and whatever else that the clients came in and used. So okay. Akash says, hi ma'am, hello. Mariana is asking, how did you know what necro means? Because I know a lot of Latin roots. I love the etymology of words. Necromancy, necromancer. Okay. Mattia says, good evening, madam. Hello, Mattia. Nice to see you on here. And if you guys check out Mattia's name, he's got a little me next to him. And that's because he is currently one member of my Mara tiers. My Mara emoji or my Mara Higao tiers. So go check those out. You could do that by clicking the $sign underneath the chat. Okay. Graham says, there's a lot of truth to the old adage, you get what you pay for. Yes. Okay. So the reason why we're going to go into the fact that SW is it's expensive. We all know that S sells, and we know that there's a lot that has to do with it. You have to maintain your personality and build upon what you're putting out there as a person. So me being a mistress and me being, a sensual, sadistic, kind of hypnotic expertise, I went and did my time and trained in those classes. I took the time to learn from people who are professionals, who have been in the industry longer than I have, and taken what they and their experiences collectively that they're sharing with me and putting that to use. I wouldn't have been able to gather all of that information by myself unless I had paid for those classes and those experiences and met them in person. Everybody who charges for their expertise is kind of like how lawyers, charge for their expertise. They know the law inside and out. We know the laws of SW in and out, literally, and, in our line of work. So, there's a lot of things that I've had to build from the ground up, starting from scratch. I built my website. That takes maintenance, and that also costs money annually to host. I bought my own domains so that you can find me through Dominamara, Dominatrix Mara, Goddess Mara, and all of those things, again, have an annual fee. Very small, but, it adds up to all the little things. Nelson says, "That's a nice room you have, Miss Mara." Thank you. I also built this by myself, which is awesome. Let's see. Okay. Nom de Plume says, "Did you read Mistress Damiana's commentary on Findom?" I have my own commentary on it, so if we align, then that's cool. Everybody has their own rendition of what that is, just like how everybody has different protocols for domination. Okay, so what I was talking about was leading into admin work. Admin is everything I do in the background on my phone, on my computer, to maintain my websites, my emails, bookings, all of that stuff, taking photos, like fresh photos, so that I have new content and people can, just keep up with me on my life and hook in new people. And all of those things cost money. If you're not like me, who is artistic by nature, then you have to pay for somebody to photograph you and film you. You have to pay for them to edit. You have to pay sometimes for a location. If you don't own your own space, you also have to pay and rent out a play space or a hotel room. Same thing. When you're traveling, I have to pay for not only the flight, but the accommodations, and then whatever else that I need to bring, my tools, baggage, because if I'm not playing and renting out a space, I have to bring my own stuff. Cleaning supplies also cost a lot of things. We don't just have the expenses of the equipment and the wardrobe, but cleaning and sterilization is very important for this line of work. That also costs money, especially if you want industrial strength stuff that will kill literally everything that comes into contact with it. Liam is asking, "I wonder if I learned how to do bookings and money work, could I exchange that service for sessions?" Some mistresses would probably give a discount, but nobody is going to trade that for free unless they have a lot of taxes that need to be done for the year. Maybe they would trade one session for that. Like if I owned my own space, hosted events, also traveled and did my own thing as a dom, maybe. And I do know doms who, like myself, I know lawyers, so I don't necessarily have to pay them for their services. They actually pay me instead to session. And they're doing their, pro bono work free because they are and feel entitled to being in service to me. And I've accepted that as a transaction. Krishma says, love from India, 3 a.m. here. Hello. Okay. If you guys have any questions or comments about this, do let me know. I think it's a really important thing to talk about. And I have older videos on why we charge the way we do, kind of going over this, but I kind of want to add new things to this topic and want to do it on live because I want you guys to be able to ask as well. I think it's just important to be transparent and for everybody to have, the same expectation. Okay. Let's see, what else do we talk about? Admin work. Oh yes, so I mentioned wardrobe. So in order to, dom, and even though to me personally, I don't think you necessarily need the heavy leather and latex, it is an appeal. It is what people think of when they hear, domination or bidism or whatever. They think, okay, fet wear. That's the leather. That's the latex. That's the PVC. That's, lace and lingerie. It's nylons. It's high heel boots, stripper heels, the works. Like everything that you can think of. And in my line of work, unless you specialize in one thing only, but even that one thing has such a broad spectrum, you can't just, narrow and pigeonhole yourself in one thing. Like for me personally, I have some latex, I have some leather, because some people who come to see me want just those things. But if I just have leather or if I just have latex, sure, I can do that, but it will alienate some people who aren't into those things. Like somebody who's allergic to latex, even though they might like the look, they can't play with that. So what do you do then? You have to buy other things. And all of these costs, like I mentioned, add up. Graham says, my best friend had access to subs in the legal profession who supplied free advice in exactly the same way. Very convenient. Yeah, and it's literally like who you get as a clientele. I don't seek out, doctors and lawyers and, dentists, whatever, that's not my game. No shade if you do that. And, but I don't think a real mistress should go out and ask for other people's time. People come to real mistresses to serve, and then in addition, as a bonus, if they can supply any other things that are valuable to her life, that's great. She won't necessarily pay for them, or she'll pay for them for a discount, or they can make the exchange then, as long as the work is comparable to her work and she deems it so. Okay. Liam says, is the amount it costs equal time plus space plus work involved plus special props plus your talent plus you keeping their safety? Yes, exactly, Liam. And I'm going to repeat this in my words. So everything that you see in a picturesque version of a dom in her play space with all the tools and everything and her like doing her thing, especially if it's a video clip too. All of those things that you see on camera cost something, right? It cost her to get the camera or the technology that she's filming on. It costs her to be put into makeup. It costs her the wardrobe. It costs her the lights. I have a light right now that was gifted to me by my fin sub. that I've had for many years now, because he appreciates my work and he knows that I need really good lighting that's mobile and that I can take with me anywhere, because I like to work in different places and environments, and he found value in gifting it to me. So that's another thing. Furniture, dungeon furniture, dungeon like aesthetics, because some people, yeah, you can play in a blank room that just has a closed 4-wall space, or you can dress it up a little bit to your style and your theme, make it nice, suit your personality, make it inviting to other people, etc. And that decoration costs money. Shoe wear, footwear, and then whatever the sub is wearing too. Sometimes I have to put on a hood because the sub doesn't want their identity revealed to other people. So to keep the privacy, or for sensory deprivation, leather or latex hoods or nylon hoods work as well. But guess what? Those cost money too. So yeah, that's kind of the thing. And then obviously her skills. Did she take classes for the things that she did, or did she just learn on YouTube and so it's not really effective, you know? And prawn is not a source of education either. Okay, let's see. Liam says, allergy play? Definitely not, no. Ethan says, are people underage allowed to hire a dom? Just curious about the laws. No, of course not. Here in the US, the legal age is 18. In different parts of the world, it's different. Like in France, I believe it was 16 at one point. I don't know what it is now. I don't live there. But if I do want to say, if you are traveling to another country or even another state, laws are different. So always do your research and make sure that you are abiding by that state's or city's or country's laws. Typically, younger people also can't afford to hire dom services, yet alone an SW services. And that's because most people are children of the working class, and they, you know, have to go to school, and sometimes they have to pay for school, and then they, you know, acquire debt, and so they have to pay that off, including their own space to live, food, etc., all the necessities in life as well. Oh, which brings me to the point. So I talked about admin work, the wardrobe. Guess what? Doms are humans too. So we also have to take care of our own rent, our living spaces, not just a play space, but the living spaces. We have to take care of food and utilities. Where do you think all the electricity that I'm using is coming from? That's not for free. And then, let's see. Cars, transportation. If you live in a city that is large or that requires you to go from point A to point B, and public transportation is not your thing, or that they aren't as reliable, or whatever the case may be, I don't know your situation, but transportation is also another liability. You need to pay for the car. If it's paid in full, you need to take care of it, maintain it, wash it every so often, put gas in it. And if something breaks down, you gotta fix that as well. That also costs money. If you're traveling in the same city that you're based in as a dom, guess what? You gotta drive somewhere. You have to get to the play space. If you don't have your own play space, or even if you do have your own play space, it's not usually in this person's, you know, room at home. They have to drive there or walk there, or, you know, take some sort of transportation there. So that costs money. And if a dom is requested to go somewhere else, like, so I live in Los Angeles in the Valley, and if somebody from Orange County, which is 45 minutes to over an hour away depending on traffic, I have to go all the way there for them And I actually charge extra because of traffic and because it takes more of my time to get there. So I take all of those things into consideration as well. Liam says, that's why I really want a dom girlfriend or wife, but until I trust them, I feel like trusting them with breath play and complete bondage where I can't escape myself. I find it scary. That's my issue. At 22 years old, I would get to go to a dom every day if I had the money. Well, yes, I think there's a big fantasy about subs or, fetishists wanting a dom 24/7, but ideally with life stuff, with family, if you're not out to your family, it's not really sustainable for a lot of people, and that's why sometimes, even though they want to live the lifestyle that way, unless they're living with their partner or partners like all the time and this is their dynamic all the time, then it's really tough to have that every day. I think that's also another reason why regulars exist for the dom world, is because they want this 24/7 thing, but they can't because they have to work or the dom has to work. There was somebody who wrote an email to me, a very lengthy email, about wanting to be a similar situation where he wanted to be a live-in boyfriend sub, and that I was going to be exclusive to him, and he wanted me to play with him but also have sex relations with him and all this stuff. And I was like, this sounds a lot like it's serving you. Where in that is it going to serve me besides you being my financial whatever sub in that case? It didn't align with my values, and even though it seemed like a lucrative, type of situation, I was like, I don't know if you're really a sub if you're telling me all these things that you want and you're not asking me what I want in your introductory, email. Sounds a lot like topping from the bottom, if you ask me. Okay. Graham says, impeccable advice, ma'am. Smiley face, thank you. Ethan says, how do you foresee your career in 4 years? Well, I don't know if I can look that far any longer, because within the last 3 to 5 years previous to this, no one could have foreseen a pandemic. And I hate to say it, but it did kind of ruin a lot of people's careers, both in SW and outside of it. Since I am one of the types of mistresses that like to play in person, my clip stores and virtual presence had to regrow because I was no longer traveling and I had to reconnect with people in a different way than they're used to. And some people could not get away from their spouses or families in order to do that. Or some people even started families because, when you're not doing anything and you're stuck with your partner at home, sometimes babies get made. And so that happened as well. So in 4 years, I would love to say that I am doing better and bigger than I ever was before. I would love to say that I have recovered from the, pandemic era and everything was back to normal and, better, and that I have my own play space, or I'm traveling every month again. But no one really knows. And right now, I think we really do have to take it month at a time to see how it goes. Luckily, as I mentioned previously, because I've done such a good job at managing my own finances, I haven't had to dip into savings this whole time. I've still been able to travel a little bit, doing road trips, as you guys have seen on my travel tours. So Another thing that I would love to talk about is an Excel sheet and how organized I am with all my expenses, because every year I have another Excel sheet where one page is dedicated to, or one column, I should say, is dedicated all to my earnings of that year. So any money that I get from clients, from channels, from subscriptions, I put it on there, date, payout, amount, and if there's taxes taken out of it or not. Next column over is my advertising one. How much I paid for advertising, how much I paid for kind of like notice billboards and stuff like that. It's advertisement and advertising. The next column over is transportation and anything that I used for that. Sometimes I'll have little pockets of travel. So like when I went to Oahu, Hawaii, I definitely put my expenses there, how much I paid for Airbnb or hotel and the flight over there and renting a car and the gas money and everything, even food I put in there just to know, and what I made there because I actually played. And speaking of Hawaii, we have Fiji water, clear and crisp. Oh, you make me want to drink more water. That's so awesome. Or make me want coconut water too. Says Splendid. Mackie says, aloha from Hawaii. Missed arranging a session with you when you came, was busy with work. How was your vacation and did you eat anywhere exciting? I did, actually. I have a mini movie that you can watch after this live stream. You can go onto my main channel account, scroll all the way down to travel tours, and if you click all the way to the end, I have a 6 epic days in Hawaii that you can watch. It was pretty awesome. I did boat rides and learned a lot about Polynesian culture, which was really important to me this trip. I got to play and ate lots of good food everywhere, from spam musubi or onigiri musubi and fine dining. And then a luau to close out the thing, an authentic luau. Graham says, when I was self-employed, travel and accommodation costs beyond a certain point were an inevitable factor in the final price charged. Yeah, so if you work for a really nice company, they will take care of expenses for you if you are traveling on their account, right? So say I work for a billion-dollar corporation, which I did, and I was a manager at this company, and my job was to literally fly to different countries in order to communicate with the same types of manager at their branch, in order to make the machine of the corporation run smoothly and freely. Then, that flight, the accommodations, even the food and drink were all expensable. And that's when corporate cards come into play. Similarly to SW and S workers, some people have had a business card and a business account that they charge everything to. And that's how they can keep track of what was personal and what was for business. So anytime that they went to a different city or a different country and charge it on the credit card, they know, okay, I can expense that if I'm paying taxes on this. So yes, but those are specific to those types of corporations. Not every company does this. Not every company allows for corporate cards. Some people allow for reimbursement, but you have to take it out of your bank account first, which means you have to have the money in your bank account in order to do those things freely. Florentine says, hello from France. Mistress Mara, hello, or bonjour. Actually, it's nighttime, right? So yeah, probably shouldn't be saying good day. Good evening. Okay, so we we can, oh geez, it's already like 35 minutes. I've been talking, it feels like I just started 10 minutes ago. Okay, so now we're gonna migrate over to, one more thing that I want to discuss about travel and play spaces. Like somebody asked me, oh, is there like a dungeon in Oahu? Because we're going, he and his significant other were going to go there and wanted to rent it for a couple days or a couple nights. And I was like, to my knowledge, I don't know of any space there, you know, especially none that are public for public use. However, you know, you don't really need a dungeon space if you need to be put into a mood. You really just need your dynamic, and then whatever you have, you can use. I know it is a little bit more environment setting for playtime, and you can use furniture and stuff like that that you can't normally use. But you know, stacking pillows does the same thing. Bending people over chairs does the same thing. And I find that sexier because I find that when you can do these naughty things in places that are not meant for that, to me, in my head, it makes it seem naughtier. But anyway. All right. Oh, also, some people have play spaces, but also when you're traveling, sometimes you have to carry a suitcase full of stuff. And you don't, if you own a play space or if you have all the stuff at home, you don't always want to grab all the stuff that you need necessarily from your house or your play space to put into a bag so that you could take it and travel with it. You know how annoying that is if I had to do that every single month, and I can't always have just one thing for one specific fetish, because what if somebody books me while I'm on my tour that likes other things? So I have to kind of bring a set amount of implements and tools and make sure that it covers a wide range of people that I can play with and like interests. So that's another thing. I bought, or I had other subs purchase for me other tools and bags and things just for travel, because size matters too. I can't bring a whole dungeon with me on the plane. I have to bring really select stuff that I can work with. That's why I really love rope. I don't have to bring, you know, necessarily a spreader bar with the cuffs and all the stuff. I can literally just bring hanks of rope, have it, you know, tucked in somewhere for padding or whatever in extra crevices, and not worry about it getting damaged during the thing. And it's just rope. Like, I can just say I'm going camping or something. I don't know. Sometimes I am going camping, so, and I've used rope for it. All right. Slowed Cabbage is asking, how do you avoid paying so much tax? You don't. I can't give legal advice because I am not a lawyer, but, you know, technically you're supposed to declare everything. However, I will say that some of the people who are in SW get paid in cash, and so sometimes it's like tips where they just tuck that away and don't include that because it was a gift. I don't know. I pay taxes, which is why I get tax returns and I get stimulus checks. Let's see. BM Leo says, are you giving out financial advice? No, I'm giving out references on how I treat my finances in what I do. This is not legal advice. Slowed Cabbage is asking, is it a good idea to invest in crypto? I don't think it hurts, but I would also like to be gifted crypto in order for my wallet to grow rather than purchasing it myself. Personally, this is all personal. So, yeah. Let's see. Graham says a domestic or hotel setting can certainly be lots of fun. Yes, because there's also hotels that are like themed. There's lots of places in like Japan, and I haven't been there yet, that are like themed hotels, and they have different rooms based on specific interests. Like, I think there was one that was based on like going into bathtubs, and in each bathtub they had a different texture. So one of them was like this super jelly, like green slime thing. There was another one where the tub was filled with beer. Like, some really interesting stuff, and it's just hotel rooms that you can rent for the night and stuff like that. So I think that's fun. But I also think if you guys watch my short film Cocoon on YouTube and on Vimeo, that I had a space that I already booked, and that inspired the whole film afterwards. So that's pretty cool. Okay. Let's see. Graham also says rope is a classic. Yes, it is. Not many people know how to use it properly, though, surprisingly. Royal says, hi, mistress, how are you? I'm doing well, thank you. Graham says, honesty is the best policy. Peace of mind is worth a great deal. Mistress is right as always. Aw. Liam says, hello, Miss Ma. Before, I wanted to say I'm scared to do stuff with someone non-professional because I'm paranoid I'd die or be left like that, tied up or breath play. But money in the pockets of a Dom protects me. Yes, that is also true. I think that with a professional, they most likely, depending on your research and the references that other people give, I have a video on how subs should also do their own references and check online to see what other people have said about the mistress and if they are a well-known person or not, and if they're starting out, who their mentors were, because that matters as well. Usually a good professional will know safety first and foremost and will apply that to play. And that has to do with a bunch of things like safe zones on a body and anatomy, as well as, you know, how tight rope should be, how high they should hold a candle if they're doing wax play, etc., etc. Liam says, of course, I'm not going to a one-star Dom. That's asking for snuff stuff. That's really funny. Billy says, hi, mistress, smiley face, hello. Okay, so what were we talking about besides travel and expenses for that? Oh, and then I also have different wardrobe that I bring, like 3 to 4 pieces of my staples, a catsuit, lingerie, and a bodysuit, and a bikini when I travel, because I can play in all of those things and I want to be ready for any of those situations. So that was extra that I give myself to pack in my to-go bag, if you will, my travel bag. Okay, so we're gonna kind of migrate over and gloss through financial domination, and that is also called Findom for short. And a lot of people have kind of been scammed off the internet of this. Usually it's guys because they think that they're giving money to some young hot thing, and then later find out it's the person either ghosted on them, or they weren't the person at all, or that they aren't a real Dom and they're just giving money to some college kid. And so this is when research is a must, because if you don't want to be scammed, you have to know who you're giving money to. And some people have, like, really well established doms have their accounts stolen from them. And unfortunately, people use their identity and then scam other people too. So you have to be aware of these things. And the only way to do that is through not this verification process that is going around on Twitter, but actually seeing if the girl has her own website, and then if she corresponds with email messages through the email site, and you can also book time with them via Skype or whatever people are using these days, WhatsApp, to do sessions off of. And yeah, that's kind of one way that you can foolproof it. And another way is, a lot of these girls ask, it sucks because a lot of these girls ask for deposits, and that's what we do as real doms, professional doms, is because we don't want people wasting our time. There's a bunch of people who are asking for our attention, and there's only so much time and energy that we can give to people, and we want to give it to people who are going to be serious about our craft and our work. And in order to do that, they need to pay a little price in order to continue to receive said, attention. So Findoms have used this tool that we have put in our foundation in order to profit off of it, which makes it a really gray area. Graham says, professionals are very conscious of client care, Liam, and damaging clients is not conducive to a successful business, so don't worry. Yeah, so like me personally, how I see a financial profit from a client is that I want long-term. Why would I ever screw over that person, especially if I know that they have good income, because they're willing to pass it over to me and gift it to me or pay for my services, and just say, oh, well, there's plenty of other fishes in the sea. I don't need that one person. I can just drain them and leave. I think that's really irresponsible, and I think that's not a good way of looking at something long-term, because all of the clients and all of the subs that I've had over the years are regulars because they trust me. I've earned their trust, and they know that I am doing this as a legitimate business. They know that I am doing this and I'm trying to make a living, and then investing this money into other things such as travel or more classes in order to better myself as a dom, for equipment to increase my quality in my content creation. So depending on what the woman's intent is, or the dom's intent is, on why she charges the amount that she does, besides all the other stuff that I've already talked about, time and effort and equipment, etc., it's also about where she's gonna go with that money, right? Like, you don't want I don't know about you, maybe some people are turned on by this, but for me, it's not sustainable. I don't want to be a sub who's funding some young girl who only buys expensive designer things and who doesn't take care of herself, meaning she doesn't pay her rent on time because she's spending all her money on designer jewelry, designer footwear. And then she also doesn't buy groceries, so she's not taking care of herself and nourishing her body nutritiously. That leads for a very unhealthy physical, mental, and then later on emotional damage, because you're literally not taking care of you before you are, purchasing other things that could make you happy short term, or that are only pretty to look at, that aren't functional for the everyday use. If you are making excess money, meaning money that after you've taken care of yourself, all of your, groceries, your rent, your play space, your travel expenses, your credit cards are paid off, then you can buy yourself gifts, or you can have other people buy you gifts. That's totally 100% fine. But again, the intention. Billy is asking if I do face sitting. Yes, I do, but this is not the topic of today's discussion. Liam says that Graham, yeah, that's why a professional over girlfriend is less knowledgeable or less trusted. Yeah. And then the few subs are lucky and actually get the professional as a girlfriend, so it happens. Graham says, quite right, Liam. Very sensible, thumbs up. Liam says, I personally dislike Findoms. I'm a dragon hoarding my treasure. It's a very valued trade. And in today's world, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are also being very conscious of what they're spending on. So yeah, and it's in their right to. They've earned that money. Earned that money. I'll put that in quotes. So for me, financial domination is very lucrative if you do it correctly. So in my case, I do finances for the sub. So I do it in an ethical way. I do Findom in an ethical way, which means I ask the sub how much they are willing to gift me, like per month, let's say, or per session, right? And for them, they'll say, oh, you know, I've had subs who are just like, oh, you can have anything, mistress. Oh, you can buy whatever you please. Oh, you know, just give me your wish list and I'll purchase off of it. When I've done that before, I like really quality things, and quality, get what you pay for, is and can be expensive. So I have like face creams on there, or like, you know, whatever, body things to take care of my body, you know, as I'm aging. Like, I want to preserve as much of the elasticity in my skin as possible while still clearing out all the dirt and all the grime from underneath and stuff like that. I don't wear a lot of heavy makeup, so luckily, you know, I don't have to worry about lots of clogging pores and stuff like that, but there's still maintenance that I have to do. And for the specific, I guess, cleansing companies that I do trust that are kind of natural and organic, it's expensive. So when they saw my wish list, they're like, oh, that's a lot for, you know, just a face wash. And I was like, well, it's not just a face wash, it's my face that we're talking about here. And my face is a selling point for me. And so if you can't purchase $100 off of my wish list, then it's not really anything, mistress. It's not, I can purchase and give you anything. So that led me to then ask, what is your budget? And some subs don't like having a budget because they want to give me everything that they can, but sometimes they can't physically or financially do that. So it's a tricky situation. And sometimes it has to go with a little back and forth of like what they can afford, because to me personally, again, I want it so that they can take care of themselves first, because I want a long-term relationship with them. Why would I want a fin sub that'll give me everything all at once and then he's so drained he can't come back, you know, because he can't feed himself or his family? So for me, it's about take care of you first, then take care of me. And if you'd like to budget on yourself and give me more, that's great. I will accept it. Let's see. Liam says, well, that's just a good business decision. First pay taxes and bills, then necessities. And then you could do stuff with the rest. Preferably first put back in the business, then yourself. Exactly. That is how I do it. Graham says, absolutely true. Having a consistent business reputation is valuable in itself. Someone who abuses professional contracts will pay the price for it and ultimately find it counterproductive. Not only that, in my industry, because it's so public and everybody knows who you are and like everybody watches who everybody else is in this SW world, they're gonna know what type of person you are and nobody's gonna want to associate with you, or you'll be blacklisted from being associated from certain DOMs. You know, they might not say it, but I have a few people in mind that I'm just like, I know what types of people they are and it's not for me. And I made that decision for myself, and I'm not going to call them out. I'm not going to, you know, make drama out of it. if somebody that I trust asks me, I will give them as objective, reasons as possible, and they can make their own decision off of that. But I will only state the facts. So Liam says it's like being a money vampire. Keep the cattle well fed so that when you drink their blood without hurting them, in this case, the vampire is the Findom and the cattle is the subs, and blood money. Yeah, exactly. 100%. So that's kind of my take on finances, and I look at that, spoke for an hour on this thing. Does anyone have any questions on anything that I just said, or anything related to Findom or doming in general and costs for that? I'm not going to give, again, financial advice for your personal benefit and your personal bank account, but I'm just trying to give another perspective from the professional's point of view. And yeah, another thing that I like to invest in, besides like the regular stuff like certificate of deposits in banks, or mutual funds and stuff like that, or like having a Roth IRA. If you guys don't know what those are, look it up on YouTube. I'm not a financial channel, but I just wanted to say that, like, if I have extra money, I don't spend it. I put it into savings. I put it into all of these other things that can invest for me and give me a greater return than just have it sit in my bank account and not earn any interest, or earning the most minimal interest. Satan's brother says, hey, I'm a newbie, go easy. Satan's brother. Oh, that would be an interesting role play. Liam says, there's these things where if you are low on money, you still get electricity, but it's paid in installments. Would the necessities of sessions also paid like that? You mean... No. Okay, so that's a good question. Deposits are twofold. They are to protect the dom from time wasters, but they are also a part of the collective amount that you're going to pay for the session, per hour or per time limit, whatever it is. Very few people that I know have it so that the deposit is in addition to those things. Usually it's collective. I have had a lawyer once ask me if I could do installments. And this is when I wasn't even charging as much as I do now. This is when I was like starting out independent. And he was like, can I pay you a certain amount up front and then, over time? He did the reverse, actually. He was like, can I pay you a certain amount in the beginning, but take what I need from the sessions, subsequent from that, which means if I pay you, let's say I charged like $300 at the time, right? Per hour. And they wanted to give me $1,200 up front. They were like, can I get a discount for paying up front, but it won't be 4 sessions that I get out of it. It'll be like 5 or 6. And I was like, that makes no sense. Like, no, why would you do that? I was like, the rate is the rate. Like, a lot of people have said, you don't go to your doctor and ask them for a discount, do you? You don't go to your dentist and say, hey, I don't want to pay that much. Can I actually just pay half of that? No, you're not going to get the work done if you don't have insurance. And then, so paying in installments is like, why don't you just save up the money, pay yourself in installments, make a savings account for yourself in addition to what you already have, save your money there that you want to spend on your mistress, and when the time comes when you've accumulated that amount, spend it and make that payment all at once. That way you won't owe her, because who likes having debt? that's like a poor business plan to think of for yourself and for a dom. Like, nobody wants to be in debt like that. And then on top of that, you know, you don't have to worry about it. Once everything is paid up front, you get to have fun. And that's what it's all about. It's having fun. The money is like the tool and the process in order to get the fun. Graham says, a sound strategy. Liam says, well, I mean, I still pay the same amount, but over time. I think you would have to be a really trusted sub in order to do that, and nobody is going to trust a sub like that in the very beginning. So unfortunately, I think you're going to have to pay it all in full. I'm not the type to do that at all. You have to have the full amount when you see me. That's just how it is and how I curate my business, but yeah. Satan's brother says, nah, long black leather gloves was a search that got me here. To be honest, a beautiful night of roleplay, now finance. Okay. Coming up soon, I will have a DIY of long leather black gloves that I did make, and I'm super excited for that. I just filmed the rest of it today, and it looks so good. So that'll be coming soon. Make sure that you are subscribed and click the notification bell so that you know when that is. Stan says, Mara heart. Hi, Stan. Nice to see you. Liam says, wait, if I do a session where I'm human furniture, do I get a discount because I did my job as a desk or table or something? No, Liam. Stop trying to look for discounts. I feel like you're not going to get a good dom that way if you keep on asking. Like, that's such a faux pas. No. You are in service to the dom. If you don't understand that, you're not a sub. And if the dom puts you in a piece of furniture or shape as a furniture, that's because she found you worthy of even touching her or being in her presence that way. It's not about the sub or the fetishist. It's about the dom. Always is. Well, I guess not. The dom has responsibility to the sub too. So the responsibility goes both ways. Graham says, I'm naturally averse to being in debt as well. Yeah, nobody likes it. Did you guys watch Squid Game? That whole premise has to do with money and how everybody's in debt. Nobody wants to be in that. Liam says, like I said, I'm a dragon. I'm a greedy sub golem. I'd pay all, of course. Stan says, Miss Mara, don't like cheap subs. Haha. At Liam. Satan's brother says, wow, can't wait. Subscribe, but it's now 6 a.m. First one I have been able to watch live. We'll follow up later. Yeah, go check out my other leather glove. I have a leather glove ASMR compilation that I did of all the leather gloves that I ever own, and just do an ASMR of that. You should watch that while you fall asleep. And Satan's brother is from Australia. Yeah. Wait, do you guys say goodnight like how you guys say good day? How do you say goodnight to each other? Nelson says, Liam, chill out, don't worry. Grimlock says, let's talk about your beautiful feet. Oh, actually... Oh, I didn't do a video on it. So I'm actually wearing outfit that was sponsored by somebody, but I didn't do like a haul for them because they didn't ask for one. They just want photos. But I filmed myself changing in and out of it on my OnlyFans and AVN stars. So if you want to watch that, go sign up for those. That stuff is not PG. Liam says, well, I mean, Stan, as a student, I must find a way through, like instant noodles over fancy noodles from the Japanese place. But it's tough. Yeah, student life. I remember those days. Satan's brother says, I will indeed, beautiful. Gloves and kisses. Satan's brother says, I would never call you a Sheila. Thank you. Nelson says, let's just enjoy Miss Mara's live show. Stan says, at Liam, okay. Graham says, and a lovely outfit it is. Thank you. But yeah, I hope that kind of covers what I do with my finances in a more general term. It wasn't necessarily anything that you guys could probably use in your day-to-day unless you are booking a dom, professional dom, but that's all the stuff that goes on in her head, and then also what goes in my head specifically with financial domination. Liam says, I'm only joking, of course. There's no Japanese place nearby. Sad face. That's funny. But yeah, any other questions, concerns about finance or anything else? I will be away from the 24th to the 29th because I will be doing Thanksgiving with my family, but they are coming down here, so I'll still be around, and there will still be a video coming next week that will be the leather gloves one, so look out for that. Stan says, do no switches on here know how to start a conversation? Well, I kind of just gave a lot of backstory on why I do finances like I do and how I do finances and why we charge so much. Just to kind of give perspective on that. And I haven't made one of these videos for a very long time. I have a very old video on my channel about like why doms charge the way they do and traveling and stuff like that, but I haven't talked about it like in years, so hopefully this gave an updated, version to that, and also I'm adding content for Findom. Liam says, I'll miss you. Crying face. So dramatic, Liam. Stan says, I see. Yeah. Well, now I'm opening it up for talking because I do miss you guys. It's been every other week, or weekend, so yeah. Stan says, I'll miss you too, sad face, guilt trip, don't go. Graham says, a very illuminating exposition, ma'am. Why, thank you, Graham. Liam says, I love drama and acting. I'm pretty good at it because I can stay serious in funny situations. Oh, I'm the opposite. I bring humor to really serious situations. I'm not sure if that's really a good thing, though, because people are just going to think, like I was never a class clown, but I would always, encourage the class clown, in my own way. So, also, you guys should check out my meme videos. I think they're hilarious, but I think I'm going to take a break from them because I don't know if a lot of people are enjoying them as much as I am. And also, I want to start a new segment on my YouTube channel starting next year, so look out for that. And yeah. Let's see what else is happening within the holidays. Okay, I wanted to ask, are you guys staying in your cities, or are you guys traveling for the holidays? Graham says, Mistress has a delightful sense of humor and a razor-sharp wit. I have all of you to help me keep my wits about me. Get it? So punny. Liam says, I'm going to my niece. We always go to family. Oh, yay. Is this the first time you are traveling since, the pandemic? I'm actually kind of glad that I'm staying local for Thanksgiving. I haven't done that for like a while, so that's kind of nice. And also, I have a lawyer friend who is helping me with trademarking. Oh, that's another thing. Really quickly, is branding. Branding is a huge thing in the SW world, especially for pro-doms. And if you want to, expand your position in the world, you want to brand yourself appropriately. And what better way to brand yourself than to actually have a name that is unique, and then, if you can, trademark that. And that also costs money. It costs money to trademark, and it also costs money to have a lawyer to, represent you. Luckily, in my case, I do know somebody who's literally skilled in trademarking. And if you guys need trademarking done for you, I can refer you to her, but you will have to pay her. But yeah, my friend was going to have a kind of a Friendsgiving thing, but I think the house that she's living in is being remodeled and for the kitchen area, and so I can't wait to break that kitchen in and cook really, really lovely food with her again. The last time I was there, we cooked this amazing New York strip steak we did surf and turf. We did that with lobster tails. Oh, we made a lobster flan for those of you who like food. I never knew what a lobster flan was, but it's kind of like this eggy custard thing with like the lobster tail torn into it. It's so good. Liam says, no, in Belgium, and it's around it's pretty free. Belgium is local. I mean, a big city of 30 minutes is nothing for Americans. Oh, yeah. It takes 30 minutes to get anywhere here in Los Angeles, so. Or more. Minimum of 30 minutes. Unless you're going down the street, but even that can take 30 to 40 minutes in bad traffic, depending on where you are. Like Beverly Hills, don't even try rush hour. You're better walking. Liam says, Mara, razor sharp wit, next Gillette fusion. Stealth core now out with 5 blades as sharp as Mara's wit. That'd be really awesome though, to have my own razor. Graham says, hope you have a lovely Thanksgiving, ma'am. I can't help feeling that we're missing out here in the UK. Honestly, it's just it's a Hallmark holiday. I don't feel like people really feel the way that I do about it, because originally Thanksgiving was supposed to be in the theme of pilgrims versus natives coming together and sharing food and whatever. I'm just like, the slaughter that happened for the natives here can't compare, and so I feel like Thanksgiving has kind of morphed and transformed into just being thankful in a general sense, and it's just time to spend with your family and people that you're close to, and be thankful to them and for them, for being around them, for them being in your lives, etc., etc. The food is good though, depending on what you like to cook. My family does Thanksgiving kind of all out. We don't do the whole, like, we have turkey and stuff like that, but that's not our main course. Like, here in America, everybody is like, feasts their eyes around the turkey. We have, like, my favorite Thanksgiving, we did like a crown of lamb chops, and then there was 3 little things of caviar, and my family doesn't eat as much caviar, or like, they're not as decadent as me, so I ended up eating the caviar most of it. That's my Thanksgiving with my family. Okay. Liam says, sounds like what Rachel would make on Friends. No, she and I would have been good friends. Get it? Good friends. Oh, the puns keep coming. Harvey says, hi, Mara. Hello. Welcome. Stan says, we do not have Thanksgiving in Scandinavia either. Yeah, like I said, it's an American tradition because, you know, pilgrims, natives. Yeah. I always think of Pocahontas, you know, which is not like culturally appropriate for that, but it's the closest thing that I can come to from the education that I've had in this American school system. So that and the turkey hands that we created when we put our hands on like a colored piece of paper and then traced our hand with like a pencil and cut it out and then put feathers on them and then put a googly eye on the thumb and then made it into a turkey. Have you guys made turkey hands before? That was what we did in school. Liam says, ask for a Manscaped ad. You can make the joke. Well, for me, it's Christmas. It's just the day I go to family, nothing religious or other about it. Yeah, I kind of see it that way too. I'm a non-practicing religious person. I'm very spiritual. And I find kink to be more of something that I get something out of spiritually than anything else. So it's a day for presents. That's how I give thanks, is like during the holidays, like I gift people things for Christmas, the ones that I think deserve it, because I want to thank them for being in my life and for being the awesome people that they are, to deserve that. And it's cool because usually it's an exchange. So it's not just me giving to people, but I would be fine with that too if they really did deserve it and they couldn't gift me anything in return. But usually they do. Actually, all the time they do. Sometimes I get more gifts than I give out, and then I'm just like, But yeah. Graham says, London is the same. Whenever I am there, it can take a significant time to get from point A to point B. Yeah. Ugh, and the traffic that holidays cause. Ugh, this is why I prefer staying indoors or like staying close by, where I could literally just do like a 5 to 10 minute drive to do an activity and then, you know, back to the hotel or the B&B. I don't want to deal with that. Liam says, bastards throwing all the tea in the ocean. What a waste. Such a waste. Oh no, that's Americans versus Britain. Yeah, that's that was the American Revolution. That's after they slaughtered the natives. Oh man. Stan says, when I hear the word Thanksgiving or any old American tradition, I think of the colonies under British control. That's exactly right. Except Thanksgiving was before that, because technically the Pilgrims were more rebels beforehand. They didn't have the revolution thing going on yet, because they didn't form colonies yet. They were like in the process of forming. They were building Jamestown. Okay. Liam says, Christmas is just a reason to be with family. Like, okay, no, I don't have time, or, ooh, we're busy that weekend. No, it's just Christmas, let's all gather and unite. Power Ranger style. Yeah, kind of. And it's good to catch up with family, especially if you haven't seen them during, you know, the whole pandemic. Or if you just haven't seen them, like, I don't live in the same city as my family, so it's not like we can see each other often. But this year we saw each other a lot, actually. which I'm not complaining about. It's fun. We have a lot of fun. I'm very close to my family. Graham says, it's true that we are very fond of tea. I myself, part of Asian descent or whatever ethnic background, am also fond of tea. I prefer tea over coffee, and I don't know. I've done projects with tea before too, art projects with tea. So, and it's also just cozy. You can drink it hot or cold. It's a very cozy feeling when it goes down and it's cold outside and you're just like, ah. And the flavors too are pretty awesome. Like you get fruity, floral, funky even, earthy, really cool. Liam says, also, I'm still angry at Americans calling waffles that are not Belgian waffles and French fries French since they're not the originators. Sure. I know, I don't know why they did that, but I just call waffles waffles and I just call fries fries. It's simpler. If I've ever said French fries, it's because like we were all conditioned to do that, and I really don't know why. Like there's no rhyme or reason. I almost feel like somebody just said that one time, or like maybe they went to France and had pommes frites and they're just like, yeah, I had it in France. They're French fries. But I don't even know how they became fries when like other countries such as like the UK and, you know, England and Australia call them chips. So it's like, how did we get chips to be like potato chips? I don't know. You know, this is the type of etymology that I am not interested in. Stan says, I would probably have sided with Britain if I were to go back in time because of their professional armies, even though they lost. I mean, yeah, they looked good in their uniforms, I guess, but, you know. No. I don't know. I'd be on the native side. I'd probably die, but they were here first. And I really like how spiritual they are as a people. Like, they're really, like, their medicine came from, like, the earth and shamans and stuff like that. I love that. Graham says, mind you, I loved American cuisine when I visited. Great coffee. That's because they import their good coffee from other countries. Like Brazil and Turkey and Cuba and Ecuador and Africa. Everywhere else. But yes, the places that know how to do good coffee do good coffee. Like the drip coffee or the nitro coffee is a pretty cool conception. Liam says, no, chips is the only idea of those weird English guys. Everyone else calls them fries. That's hilarious. You and Graham fight it out. Stan says, I remember reading about the American Revolution. Britain was shipbroke and they were constantly being ambushed by the Minutemen and militias. That's one of the big reasons why they lost. Well, okay, but do you know why the American Revolution started in the first place? It's because of taxation. That's why there was the whole no taxation without representation. It's because the king was trying to tax everybody, even though they left, like, everybody who rebelled against Britain left and literally crossed an ocean to get away from them. But then the king was like, no, you're still my people over there. So anything that you profit off of, anything that you make over there, anything and everything, I'm taxing. I'm taxing profits and I'm taxing anything that goes back and forth, import, export, everything. And people got mad because they were like, we left to leave this behind and create our own government here where we think is fair. or fairer. Yeah. Graham says, it's a long time since Britain had an empire. My grandfather used to be nostalgic about it, but it was a thing of the past when I was born, and a good thing too. Yeah, it's really weird that you guys still have a monarchy, because I feel like, and this is no disrespect to the crown, I just feel like it's all facade. Like, what do you need the queen for? And like princes and stuff for? Like, there's no real rule anymore. You already have parliament and, you know, your own governments. Like, you don't need all that other. It just makes you feel fancier or more sophisticated, I guess, to have a queen or a king sitting on the throne. But I'm just like, it's kind of all for show, right? I don't know. Stan says, I still like Britain. Stan, you're always on the side that I would fight against. The Romans. Liam says, luckily English don't call football soccer. Bah. Yeah, I know. I mean, my dad's Brazilian, so South Americans call it football. F-U-T-B-O-L. So I'm good either way. I'm not a fan of American football anyway, so. Graham says, I recommend the Robert Plant song Freedom Fries. I don't even like calling them freedom fries. What the heck is that? Just call them fries. Be simple about it. Get to the point. Stan says, yes. Graham says, very true. Prince Andrew is a case end point. Rolling of the eyes. Liam says, well, changes in spelling is fine, not a whole new word. Yeah, right. It's still the root word, Latin thingy, etymology, root. Stan says, rule Britannia. Britannia rules the waves. They did rule the waves though, haha, that's true. No, because Spain was also, they like to sail a lot. That's how Columbus got funded to go and cross the oceans to go find India. Also, fun fact, that is why people called the natives here Indians, is because they actually thought they went across the world and got to India, but they didn't. So that's why it got changed to natives, because Indians are actually in India. Liam says, like foot and ball. If you say football or football? Spain, the Netherlands, Portugal, and England were the biggest. Yeah. Yeah. I always like that I get to talk history with you guys. I don't know why that always comes up. It's like my favorite subject ever, but it always comes up in all of my chats. It's great. But yeah. Any last questions, comments, concerns, topics that you guys want to talk about before I head out for the evening or for the day? Wow, I just said evening. I'm like in your guys' time zone. Liam says, Columbus was a moron. People knew the world was bigger than what he thought. But he was like, nope, it's not. He sucked at maths. He also thought the world was flat. So. Because back then, I guess he didn't. I don't know if he read. Who was it? Damn it. Was it Galileo? Or Aristotle or Plato, one of those guys, said though that the Earth revolved around the sun, because everybody at the time thought that the Earth was the center of the universe, and I was like, ugh. Caucasian people always think it's they're the center. Like all the old empires thought that they were the center of the world. Actually, that's not true. Even Siam did in Thailand. Like The King and I, if you watch that play and that musical, the King of Siam also thought Siam was the center. Everybody always thinks they're the center. Graham says, indeed, gunboat diplomacy was the norm in those days. Stan says, yes, but I'm talking about the late 1700s to early 1800s. They were the masters of the sea between that time. But after the Spanish defeat at Trafalgar, the Spanish fleet was crushed. Man, back then in the day, Vikings ruled the freaking waters. It was like, in the Atlantic Ocean, it was like the Vikings. On the Pacific Ocean, it was like the Polynesians. And both of them were kind of like pirates in their own way. Polynesians just explored and like voyaged and stuff and like created their own communities, and Vikings pillaged. Liam says, Galileo Galilei. Yeah. Galileo Figaro. Magnifico. I don't know, Korean. A Korean person has said something. Oh man. All right. I don't know. I can't translate it. Yeah, it doesn't like it. Oh, hello, good morning. Okay, got it. The only thing I know how to say in Korean is 안녕하세요. And 감사합니다. Oh, and 미안해. 사랑해. Okay, I know quite a few phrases actually. It's from the dramas. If you couldn't tell. Okay. Graham says, let's not forget the Vikings discovering the North American continent 1,000 years ago. Yeah, I know. They were like the first. Oh, what was his name? Oh, the Viking name. I don't remember it right now off the top of my head. You guys know who I'm talking about. The one dude. Braids and axe guy. I mean, that's all of them, but still. There's one in particular. Oh, now it's killing me. Okay. Viking. Leif Erikson. Yeah, that one. Oh, thank you, Graham. Liam says, heliocentrism was already invented in Greece, but then Christianity came and got a bit denied. Not a bit, it became like super denied. Galileo was just brave enough to say, morons, not. Yeah, but he had to prove it. Like, nobody believed him at first. Like, back then, all they could do is, like, telescope things and then draw it. And, like, you know, how many people are going to believe a picture? Like, even people who thought Leonardo da Vinci, they thought he was crazy. And that's because they couldn't envision what he had in his head at the time. And years later, now that we have technology, we're like, man, he was a genius. But yeah. Stan says, Napoleon rented the Spanish fleet to speak, so to speak, in order to crush the Britons. You mean the British? Because France was not good at sea, which is funny because they have water on both sides. So they needed to crush the British in order to invade England by land. Yeah, so I think the reason why Britain was such a strong navy or naval country is because they're literally an island. Like, they're surrounded by water. Whereas everybody else who's like landlocked, like they can only have their navies at the coasts, right? Graham says Nelson's ship the Victory can still be seen in Portsmouth. I loved it when I was a lad. Ooh. Is it restored or is it just ruins or wreckage? Liam says, also everyone is saying who the best was, but the true best were Asterix and Obelix. Perfect beings. Is that from How to Train Your Dragon? Alfredo says, hi, sweaty. Just joined. You mean sweetie. Sweetie is two E's. Krishma asks, cartoon, Asterix, and Obelix. I don't know who Obelix is. Oh, that one. Oh, yes. Asterix. Yes. Adventures of Asterix. It's the French comic book series. Yes. Yes. I didn't read them, but it looked fun. I liked how they were drawn. Stan says, Asterix and Obelix started as a French cartoon in the 60s, if I remember correctly, and then they made them live action movies from 1999 and upwards. They are Gauls, my enemies. Roma Victor. You guys can fight it out in Europe. Liam says, I am G. Mara, the culture shock. Asterix and Obelix were Gauls, the comic books and cartoons and movies. No, I know who they are now. I guess it wasn't popular with me because we had like American cartoons here, but then also I wasn't here for like a good chunk of like childhood when everybody else was talking about stuff. Like, it took me years to find out what the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was and like the theme song to it and like why everybody was like rapping it and stuff. I was like, what are you guys talking about? It's because I wasn't here. I wasn't here in the US. I was in South America. So I know South America, like I know the Brazilian cartoons that were really, really famous for children back in the day. Let's see. Mel says, I live near Bawtry, where the Mayflower took sail from the Pilgrim Fathers. Oh, wow. That's a really cool fun fact for Thanksgiving. Liam says, I will defy you with magical potions, Gandalf. Graham says, a similar debate took place in the early 20th century when astronomers discussed the issue of Earth's position in the galaxy, whether it was central or farther out. Yeah, that's what I meant when I said they thought the Earth was the center, not the sun. Graham says the Victory is still intact. Visitors can walk around it. I love Asterix, smiley face. Krishma says Asterix was famous in India too. Really? Man, I guess I just missed the memo. I mean, I know who they are now, but I don't know like what the comics were about or anything. I like how the number one question on Google is, did Asterix and Obelisk really exist? And then it's like a history lesson on the colorful truth about Gauls. Stan says, Mars, my god of war, does not recognize your tribes as civilized people, and therefore you shall submit to Rome. Liam. I mean, honestly though, Xena, warrior princess, he was a fan of whoever went to war, honestly, and whoever had the most spirit for war. So it doesn't matter if they were civilized or tribal. Actually, tribal people were probably the most dangerous because they literally lived in the wild and had to like fend for themselves. So, yeah. Stan says it did matter to Rome. Yeah, I know. But Krishna says, God of War Athena? Oh, you mean Athena? Athena was also a goddess of war. She was wisdom, war, arts and crafts. She was a bunch of things. Wisdom is probably the thing that I like the most about her, but she was still a jealous biscuit. Anzung65 says, Miss Mara, I click the like button when you show your feet. I show my feet when I receive a super chat or super sticker. Stan says, ha. Graham says, Xena had great fashion sense, smiley face. And she was awesome with a whip and a chakram, which is pretty awesome. Okay. You must be new here, Ansung, because I don't take orders from people who are on my live chat. I give the orders. So you have your freedom to subscribe to my channel, and I would definitely appreciate that. And I am sitting barefoot, but until somebody actually sends me a super chat or super sticker, you don't get to see it live. Stan says, haha, we're trash talking each other in a funny way, in a historical way. Yeah, but I think it's healthy because we're actually going through like history and then also, you know, just fun stuff. All right. Mel says, lol, and in modern terms, you're now the absolute goddess of all. You rule, Miss Mara. Thanks, Mel. Liam says, at Stan, you could never defeat us before, and you never will, you high on top of the mountain pasta pricks. For we shall never lose. Dude, Liam, Stan is from Finland. He's just into Rome, ancient Rome. Oh, wait, Norway. Sorry. Norway. But wait, aren't you living somewhere else? I thought you were living somewhere else. Sweden. You're living in Sweden. No? Oh, Stan says, no, I lived in Sweden before in childhood. Okay, I was close. I remember that. Krishna says, there were no heroes, just bloodthirsty people. Some won, some died. Ain't that the truth of the world? Mel says, I bow on my knees to you, Miss Mara. XXXXXX. Liam says, well, he could have said that before, but Vikings were also our enemies, trying to raid us, damn fools. So angry today, Liam. Very passionate. But yeah. All right. Before this becomes a war on my live chat, are there any other things you guys want to talk about? Graham says, of course, military campaigns in the late Western Roman Empire were fought with Germanic barbarian armies in the service of Rome. Yeah, when there wasn't enough of the Roman soldiers, yeah, they commissioned mercenaries. What's new? Liam says, I love mythology and food, so all my conversation turned to dragons or pasta. It's the Liam experience. Oh, you would have liked my lunch today, Liam. I had, what was it? A pecorino truffle mushroom ravioli with an oregano tomato sauce and like some sauteed bok choy as well. But yeah. All right, if that is all we have for today, thank you all so much for joining. Oh my gosh, Stephen Code Black, I was about to leave. He says, hi, I hope I'm not too late. You missed my whole talk on finances and like Findom and now history and wars between Europe countries in the ancient times. But you could go back and watch it afterwards. Steven says, oh man, I just got here. Stan says, fun fact, did you guys know that after Spartacus's defeat at Capua, Crassus and Caesar crucified 6,000 prisoners along the road from Capua to Rome? This shows the might of Rome. Yeah, he crucified them all the way. It was like miles of crucifixions. That was also in Xena. Liam says, Graham says, dragon burgers. I would think that dragon meat is tough. They make great jerky. Liam says, yesterday I made katsu sando, which is a Japanese fried chicken or pork on bread with cabbage salad. Also, I like your lunch, but no fan of mushrooms. You weirdo. You don't like mushrooms. You don't like pumpkins. Mel says, sleep well, sweet, sexy, kinky dreams, Miss Mara. Sleep well, and thanks for joining. Stephen Code says, well, wars in Europe still happened even up through the early mid-1900s. The 2 world wars. Oh yeah, not just Europe. Literally called world wars because it involved the world. Graham says, I met the 4th Doctor Who when I was 10. I ate his jelly babies. I didn't watch Doctor Who, so I don't know the reference. Jelly babies? Is that jelly beans? Or like little baby flubbered jelly things? I don't know that. That's what's going on in my head. Stan says, I prefer pretty women feet, not pumpkins. Liam says, pumpkin is for soup, not anything else. Oh yeah, because you didn't like pumpkin pie. Mel says, lol, would a dragon burger be flame grilled? Ha. Right? Probably. Everybody likes a little bit of char for the flavor. Liam says, at Stan, what about one with a pumpkin for a head? Like the Pumpkin King. Actually, in the original thing, it was supposed to be a rotting pumpkin even. And then, or like it would be a pumpkin and it would have a flame inside it when he talked. And then it would rot over time until next Halloween when he would put a fresh one on. That's what I heard. Krishma says, Doctor Who, the Time Lord, the lonely god, the man in the blue box, a crazy man who traveled where the laws of physics doesn't work. Yeah, I've seen the telephone box in a lot of like paraphernalia places for TV shows. Graham says, similar to jelly beans, but baby-shaped. How strange. What is the significance of that? That'd be great for Halloween. Can you imagine scaring children who don't know anything about Doctor Who with tiny babies. Jelly, I mean, they would probably just eat them because children eat everything. But yeah. Stan says, I'm not familiar with that, lol. Liam says, some headless horsemen used pumpkins as a head. Ironically, they could not go over rivers, but they still try to throw their head towards the victim to unalive them. Yes. I've seen the Disney version, which actually kind of scared me when I was younger, because I was like, dude, this guy is so badass. Like, he could literally anybody, you know? And his horse was really fast. But I also saw the Sleepy Hollow movie with Johnny Depp in it. Wait, yeah, it was Johnny Depp. He was younger. Stan says, Mara, if I were a Roman emperor, I would wish you were my empress. Smiley face. Hello. I would definitely be... I would be a dom still, but I would also love to be like a sorceress of some sort. Graham says, we've had bits of pumpkins everywhere on the park where I work lately. Very messy. Yeah. So when pumpkins grow, they're actually a vine, and even though they're heavy and they're on the ground, they spread horizontally and underneath in roots. So they took over everything. And not only that, pumpkins like start rotting from wherever there is like a hole. So if an insect or like something hits the pumpkin and it causes a puncture, it just creates a soft spot, and then worms can get in there, and it becomes like a breeding ground for really disgusting insects. And you won't see that because the outside of the pumpkin on the top still looks great. And then you lift it up, and I've seen this before because I've gone to pumpkin patches, and you lift it up and the insides come out, or the bottom is already like hollowed out and like moldy and stuff like that with a bunch of creepy crawlies, and it's really gross. But when the insides come out, yeah, it's really stringy and seedy and nasty and a pain. Great for compost. But yeah. Mel says, not seen you in ages. Can I say you look absolutely stunning, gorgeous, beautiful. I have missed you so much. Red. There's a fly. Red hearts, black hearts, and red roses. Oh, my favorites. Thanks, Mel. Missed you too. Krishna says, Halloween in past probably burned random people saying they were witches and vampires. It wasn't just Halloween. It was literally whenever any woman had entranced a man, other women would declare her, or other men would declare her a witch. I think vampires were more associated with men in the beginning and then became like anybody. Liam says to Stan, like, look at my beautiful empress. I will take over the world. That night you'd be hanging up in ropes and she'll clad her Roman latex or leather outfit. Probably leather, because they didn't have latex back then, but yeah. They definitely had leather. Krishna says, Mara's an amazing empress, red heart. Aw, thanks you guys. Here, I'm gonna give you a bunch of my emojis, because... Alright. Stan says, I would be Mark Antony and you would be Cleopatra back then. You probably... I mean, who wouldn't want to be Cleopatra? Let's be honest. Liam says, worms, perfect for fishing. I've never been fishing. I've seen people fish many times. It's not for me. I like eating fish though, obviously, sushi. And grilled fish. Graham says, as I understand, the roots of the Headless Horseman are derived from Celtic tradition. Wow. Woo, read that wrong. Liam says, I feel like Mara would always be on the losing end and then be offered as a trophy to the winter where she would start her dom ways, and by the end of the week she'll have the land for herself. I like this idea, Liam. A dom version of the Horse of Troy. Yeah. 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 Probably. Most likely. Graham says, Cleopatra, kiss my asp, and so on. I know. So tragic. Oh, Korean person CEO says, hello, hello. Annyeong. Krishma says, I don't know, I would be a sub for Cleopatra than being her. Lol. Okay, yeah, to each their own, but probably for women, they would want to be Cleopatra. Rogers Aviation says, Miss Mara, I need you to punish me, handcuff me. Oh, really? I don't know what kind of submissive orders a dom around. Liam says, I wouldn't want to be Cleopatra. Regular fishing is boring to me, but fly fishing is super fun. Epic rap battles of history was great on Cleopatra. Oh, I think I'll watch that one. I don't know. I don't remember who the other person was, but yeah. When you say fly fishing, that reminds me of that scene in The Life of Pi. I watched that again recently and I was like, oh, it's still so good. The visuals are great. And the fish are flying over the boat. Oh, it's so good. So good. Okay. Stan says, do you guys think Mark Anthony worshipped Cleopatra's feet? Yeah, probably. Liam says, it's Marilyn Monroe. Oh yeah, because she's like the modern version. The S symbol, if you will. That's a good pair, actually. Krishma says, yeah, amazing visuals on the island where the tiger is left. Yeah, the carnivorous island. Oh. And all the little creatures that come out. Liam says, well, just pulling fish out of a raging river was super fun. Ooh. Have you ever guys, wow. My brain is always thinking like faster than I can speak. Have you guys ever done whitewater rafting? That's super fun. I only did a level 2, but I think I would have been cool with a level 3. I don't know if I could do a level 4. That looks pretty intense. Like people fly off the boat or the tube or whatever. Let's see. Krishma says, true. Red heart, red heart, red heart. Stan says, gotta bounce. See ya, Imperatrix. Bye, Stan. Thanks for stopping by. And also, we are coming up on 2 hours. If there is any other thing that we would like to talk about, now is the time. If not, I want to thank you all so much for joining my live stream as usual. If you haven't already, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Share it so that other people can learn about finances and then also world history, because that's how we do on my channel. Also subscribe if you haven't already. Click the notification bell so that you know when I have new content out. I post a new video every Saturday and or live stream. And don't forget to join one of my 2 membership tiers here on YouTube, and follow my Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, everything at Mara Domina. I will write it out for you all so that you have it. And until next time, Liam, Ix says hello from Turkey. Hello. Liam says good night and have an enjoyable family time. Miss Mara of Troy. Thank you, Liam, so much for joining today. It was really fun. Krishna says thank you for the amazing live. Empress liked and subbed. Thank you so much. Graham says I haven't done whitewater rafting. I've been in a Viking longship replicas though. Ooh, that sounds fun. Awesome. You should try it one day. Alrighty, see you guys all next time. Bye. Stay safe.